So
yeah, I do have a for the introduction, but should be fine. All right, looks like we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another YouTube live event with Crystallize. Today, as you read from the title, we're going to be introducing the Nuxt.js boilerplate that we've been working on. And today, to show us around, explaining the process, and of course, telling us what's next, what's Nuxt, see what I did there, is Håkon. Yeah, it's welcome to the puns. So yeah, Håkon, you're up.
Okay.
Give us a small intro of maybe what we've been working on, what the team has been working on the past days. And I know that's actually a few guys in the community that are super interested. So yeah.
Yeah. So please stop the jokes because they're too funny. So everyone will just laugh through the entire video.
Yeah.
Let's just stop now.
I will do so.
Oh man. But it is kind of confusing, all these names that we give the front end frameworks. We have the Next boilerplate, and now we have the Nuxt boilerplate. And if you check out our GitHub, you can see that we have a new repo out with the NuxtJS boilerplate. So finally, something for Vue. Hey! Yep. So it's easy to navigate to if you're already in GitHub. If you're in the Next boilerplate, you just replace that with the E with the U, and there you go. So for those of you who doesn't know, Nuxt.js is a way to get your Vue applications out on the web with server-side rendering or static generation. So it's a really good option if you wanted to view like a Vue eCommerce, because this one will enable you to properly optimize for SEO and performance and all of those good things. So in this video, we will just basically show you how to get started and how to deploy, really. And we will probably dive more into details on Vue-specific things and in other videos. So to get started, I'm hoping I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing maybe only Chrome. Let me just see.
I see your Chrome.
Yeah.
Now.
Let me see if I can share a terminal instead. Hold on, give me a second to navigate through things.
This should be probably fine. I don't know. Have you split screen now or? Yeah, resizing the windows. Oh yeah, I can see terminal. Yeah.
Right. So let's just focus on terminal for now. So in order to get started, just gonna make this a bit bigger. You can see it. You do npx at Crystallize CLI as usual, and you do stuff. You can name it like Vue or Nuxt shop, for instance. This is optional with the naming. This is the default way to bootstrap any of our boilerplates. So this will be the same process for all of them. And
the ones to come in the future as well.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the gateway for all the current one and the upcoming ones. And as you can see here, we've got our existing Next.js boilerplates. We've got a Gatsby, and now finally something in Vue. So let's go with that one, and I'm gonna just select the tenant that we usually use in these demos. And what the CLI is doing now is that it's copying the repository, and it's basically installing your dependencies and then cleaning up a bit before we boot it up. So in essence, what we can do while it's doing this is I can share. Let me see here. Another one, just showing you essentially the structure. This is just from GitHub. It's a really simple setup. We have an env file here in the root that just basically lets you configure the a tenant to use. There's an app config JSON that configures the current locale for the shop. Also maps out the language to Crystallize and which price variant to use. You will find the same thing in the Nuxt.js boilerplate and the Gatsby one. This is all the same. In Pages folder, which is for those of you who knows Nuxt very well, this is similar to Nuxt.js, a way to route files like your directory structure to the routes in your eCommerce. And in here, we actually only have the front page because the rest of the routes are going to be determined based on the catalog items you have in your tenant. But if you check out the index, you will see very familiar Vue stuff in here. You will also find the piece where we connect to Crystallize, where we basically get the front page data that we need to show this one. Let me see if I am done with installing. I am. Let me switch to that one. Share. So we got a Nuxt shop folder now using furniture. And it's detected I'm using yarn, so that's why it's showing me yarn commands. If not, it would show you npm commands. So let's dive into my Nuxt shop and start it by doing yarn. This will just start up the local development server. There we go. So I guess I can go back to Chrome and show you the local version real quick. There we go. And there it is. The design is more or less the same as the Nuxt.js boilerplate and the Gatsby boilerplate. There are some slight differences though. We did build this with focus on simplicity and speed in mind. So there's really not a lot of unneeded stuff in here. It's like the bare minimum you need to render content and displaying products. And sort of all marketing related stuff as well as images, rich text like this. This is a product. We can go to stories to see how a folder look like. This is your typical folder. It's laying out some documents. If I click them, yeah. We've got the proper Vue components here to digest our API response from Crystallize and output them through a Vue component that ends up in HTML in the end. I don't think we want to show a whole lot of code, but I could show you just a few small things.
I think it would be interesting just to show like a little bit around, like where would I, so I start, right? So where would I change my API keys essentially to connect to Crystallize?
Yeah.
And basically where would I change the code to maybe change the CSS or update the screen the way that I want it to look like?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So let's let me share VS Code. I just opened the project here. So essentially, you would switch the tenant by just replacing this. We can easily do that. I'm going to throw out the terminal here too. Open up is probably a better wording than throw up a terminal. Norwegian
let's
mixing English. Yeah, this is proper Norwegian English right here. So let's just replace this with mini cars and start this project. Not sure if it's gonna render a front page. We'll find out.
Well, it does have some changes, right?
Yeah, it probably is. But this is how you would basically target a different tenant. The rest is so essentially all the different routes are being fetched from Crystallize by using path, and we got a function here from the graph that just pulls all the different catalog item routes or paths that we're going to make some routes out of.
Does it go to a certain level? So going like down for children, for instance,
Yeah.
something like that?
Yep, you're right. So it's actually lying to you. It's not getting all. Well, it doesn't say all. It just says get catalog items. So this will fetch. I don't know how many these are.
That's a lot of children. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels deep. So it will catch most of them. So if you don't want all of that, you basically just modify this query, or you can even go as far as editing Nuxt config itself and do your own stuff here. Essentially decide which routes to generate and which ones to skip. So each
I
of them
see that
will.
we have the same idea here with the naming in the top level folders with the underscore there.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So this is
yeah.
This is something that throws a few people off. But if you have an item with a name that starts with an underscore, this is just a convention that we've decided upon for our boilerplates and tenants. But yeah, if you have a name that starts with an underscore, we're not going to make a specific page for it, and we are going to exclude it from the top menu, navigation, and the footer. Yeah,
out of the box at least. I mean, people can just remove that.
They can remove that, definitely. Right. If they like names that starts with underscore, yes, sure. Definitely possible to do. Yeah, for sure. Let's just quickly show you how a product is being rendered as well. It has a template which we can look at later. I guess I can just minify this. Oh, just release. It's essentially taking, starting with a query. It gets a path in, like your current route path, and see if there's, or finds the product here, and maps that to the component itself. So it's able to use it in the template here, it's really straightforward stuff. All of the components being used are currently found in here. We don't have npm components for these ones at the moment. So these are named, we're using the components configuration for Nuxt, and that's probably something that's worth mentioning, because that was something that got me real confused in the beginning. But Nuxt.js has a really clever way of detecting which files, which components you've got in your project, and it will allow you to use them without explicitly saying where they are. So that means I can use something called Crystallize image here, even though it's not imported here. It's not sort of in my components object, which is the other way of defining which components are available. But I can still reference it because there is, let me show you, a components directory here where we have a Vue file called Crystallize image. So this implicit dependency here is something that is probably going to confuse some people in the beginning, but it is a really flexible and developer-friendly way of enabling fast development cycles, because you don't have to do imports everywhere. Just be careful when you name your things. If they're named the same, Nuxt doesn't really know where to pull it from. So this component here is being used for every place where we have an image from Crystallize, and we can also just quickly show what it's doing. It's basically, and this is the beauty of not having npm packages. You can immediately see the source and what it's doing. So yeah, it's just putting a picture tag and source and image inside. It's not really a magic to it, and it's composing some. I guess this is where the magic lies. It's extracting which images are WebP, which ones are your original file format, and also settings, width and height for the image and stuff that's really useful. So
cool. So basically, the components that we're using are similar to the ones that we have been building in the Nuxt.js boilerplate, right?
Yep.
But they're written, let's say, from scratch to match what Vue needs to be.
Yeah. Exactly.
Using there, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
See, that's and we might release some npm packages for Vue depending on well, community feedback, actually, more or less. So if we have no requests for it, we will probably wait. But yes, the components are made so that they more or less match what we currently have for React. But yeah, in essence, I think it's a good thing to be able to see the source code for everything right here. So you might even learn a bit more about how Crystallize, how we're doing things.
Yep. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, we're deferring to regular Nuxt defaults for layout, for populating head elements for your very important SEO stuff like title and description. But so you will learn a lot about Nuxt by just visiting their website. They have really good documentation. So maybe I want to end with showing you how to deploy this.
Sure thing. So just to clarify two things that I see a couple of questions here in the chat.
Yes.
So basically what we have in the components folder that's you've set up there, basically everything that you put there is how you can define components in Vue, right? And this is how it actually tells that this is a component that will be used in code, right? Just getting that out of the door.
That's correct.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, but it's important to get this right because this is the one of the major differences between frameworks like React and Vue, or in React you have to explicitly always import things, and so you have to know where things lie. And
I mean, here you have the freedom to do so. You have the freedom to do so, but you're not, it gives you a small of a, okay, if you forget it, it's okay kind of feeling.
That's true. Yeah. So it will break less often, to be honest. So you can also reference an unknown component that does not exist, and Vue will still work. There's nothing in here that will break. So consider it a good thing or a bad thing. It's up to you. Let's see if I can deploy this too. So with at this point, I think it just makes sense to deploy this to Vercel because it's the one that we've been testing with so far. And in theory, you could deploy this to Netlify. You have other options as well. Well, let me just do that now real quick. We do with Vercel. I can choose my, can I choose my personal account? There we go. I don't have an existing one, my Nuxt shop. This is how it will look if you did it for the first time from the command line. We also have on the GitHub repository, there's a button to click and deploy immediately, which will clone the repository to a GitHub account that you own, and also just put that on Vercel immediately. Nice. Easier solution. Let me switch to Chrome again, because I can show you that also real quick. So here, yeah, this is the button I talked about. You just click this one, and it will take you through a step where you have to log into Vercel, but then after that, you get your own forked repo and so on. Just what we're currently building. Yeah. So before I show you the ready one, I can show you one that we have already deployed on this boilerplate, and it's available now. Nuxt super fast shop. And we did also take some measurements here to make it fast as well. So out of the box, this boilerplate is going to be fast. It can be even faster, and it might be in the future. Right now, it has a pretty decent performance. So this one will act as the one that I demoed locally. Let me see if I've got the other one gone. Okay. So I have a deployment ready for Vercel as well with the mini cars. Let me see. And this is the URL I got. And this is showing a different tenant. And I haven't actually tested mini cars on the Vue boilerplate. So this is a nice, interesting demo as well for the first time.
Demos, yeah.
It's an empty boxes here. That's because we don't have proper content for this car. There's no paragraph collection. Manufacturers, it works, even though we might do it even prettier.
Yeah, a little bit prettier, I guess.
Yeah, but it works. So this is a good starting point, and we are very much looking forward to some feedback from the community, and we will jump on any chance that we have to improve this based on feedback. And we are definitely wanting to make this as equally as fast and as awesome as the other ones that we've got going on.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think we covered most of the things now. We could of course always dive into details, but I think it makes sense to do that in a separate stream.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe dive in how you can change things, and so also a few more things like we're going to be doing with the NuxtJS boilerplate, soon to be announced.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff for sure. Yeah, I think this is pretty much what we had to show today, right, Håkon? Or
yeah, we got it. So we created a boilerplate using the CLI, and we fiddled around in it, changed the tenant, and we got it deployed to Vercel in the end.
Exactly.
So I guess that was a pretty good story.
Pretty good. So yeah, go ahead, give it a try, and give us some feedback. Like Håkon said, always happy to hear feedback and see how we can improve that. Yeah, thanks everyone very much for joining. Great job, Håkon. It was a really beautiful example. Also tested live, which is great. Always.
Yep.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Have a nice day, and we'll see you in the next one.